It's been a hard road back to the hardwood for Lady Bear stars Moon Urson and Dee Dee Richards after a scary collision in practice back in late October sidelined them both. But as they learned this week, it's the little gestures from the little fans that can help the most. And for these players, the decision to join the basketball league once they got the opportunity was a slam dunk. Well, this state championship game being played in Panther Stadium in Hewitt tonight is not like the normal ones you'd see on TV. This is six-man football, which means a smaller field, smaller teams, and oh yeah, that adage of you play until you hear the whistle, that only counts for one team tonight. This doesn't sound like a state championship football game, but for one underdog team, this is how all their games sound.
And this rivalry, it goes so far beyond football. It splits a stadium, it splits communities, and sometimes, yes, it even splits families. And when your dad is a Permian legend and you share the same name, you star for their biggest rivals? This Bearcat basketball team, and indeed the entire community, is embracing the message emblazoned on these red wristbands, saying to live and play the Rider way. With Baylor having such a passionate sports fan base, the hockey team is hoping those fans will give them a shot.
These Permian players had a strong connection, and while they weren't naughty by nature, they were willing to defend themselves and their teammates at any turn, which had them all asking the same question: down with OPP?
Coach Thompson says what separates this program from the rest of junior college baseball isn't just the trophy, it's what's behind me. It's been behind them all season long. Right now, basketball is busting here at Baylor, with both teams being ranked inside the top 10 nationally. And next year, Scott Drew's team will have its best recruiting class ever coming to campus. And the guys who will be dunking here at the Farrell Center next season won't be the only ballers who are going to have their tuition covered. Welcome back. The program formerly known as Midland Lee considers itself a national brand in high school football. With expectations as big as the state itself, these Rebels are looking to leave a lasting legacy. Obviously, the Big 12 Conference and the Baylor Bears are pushing forward with the 2020 football season as scheduled. Well, kind of. With limited capacity at McLean Stadium, though, comes limited revenue to the city of Waco as a whole. And with a chance there's no marching band, no running of the Baylor line, and no 50,000 people packed into McLean Stadium behind me this fall, businesses in Waco are looking to make their own game day experience.
There is really no manual for kids this age to deal with such sudden loss. I mean, really, there isn't any manual for anyone of any age. And in this tight-knit community, these remarkable high school students are helping a town heal by honoring their friend and their teammate by living and playing the way he would.
Whenever times are kind of tough and we're doubting ourselves, we know we're doing it for him.
Ryder Gass was a quick-witted and fun-loving player on the Garden City Bearcats basketball team and was always eager to keep his teammates and friends smiling.
He would do almost anything just to give you a smile, and even if it involved embarrassing himself sometimes.
John Lopez was one of Ryder's closest friends, and he remembers what Gass would say when he'd leave.
Once you left him, he'd always finish with "I love you," so you always had to tell him back. So before I left, I was like, "Bye, Ryder, I love you." And then, that was like the last memory I had with him.
Just moments after leaving that basketball practice in early January, the 16-year-old Gass veered off the road in his Toyota Tundra and was pronounced dead on the scene.
My mom came in and kind of explained it to us, and it took us just a minute to comprehend it, and then it really hit.
We loved Ryder immensely, and some things you just can't explain, and it's hard for kids to grasp situations like this.
For Gass's funeral, the community filled the basketball arena that had become like a second home for Ryder and his friends. The overwhelming grief even led Lopez to consider giving up basketball altogether.
I had a talk with Miss Gass, Ryder's mom, and she kind of lifted me up, and she was like, "Hey, we got to move on. We got to keep playing and do our own thing and just do it for Ryder and play the way he used to do and always do it for him." So that's just something that always sticks with me now.
Instead, the team played on, dedicating their season to him, wearing shooting shirts with his name and number on the back, keeping his initials on their uniforms, and keeping a spot for him on the bench.
You just look at his jersey and then just kind of pumps you up, gives you a boost, just knowing you're doing it for him, and kind of lifts you up a little more.
And while Ryder isn't physically at the games anymore, his spirit still is, and his parents haven't missed a home game.
Because that's what he would want.
He wouldn't want us to stop, and then the more for these boys that are his teammates, we just want to be there for them because they're going through it just like we are.
Through tragedy, this tiny community has banded together, mainly by supporting their Bearcats even more. This Bearcat basketball team, and indeed the entire community, is embracing the message emblazoned on these red wristbands, saying to live and play the Rider way.
Be outgoing, just have fun in life. Don't get down, don't be hard on yourself. That's kind of what it means to live and play the Rider way.
The players have begun to realize what started out as a team and as a community has turned into a family.
It's the big part of our family now. I mean, they're just like our kids.
As the Cats push towards the playoffs, they realize they might not have the full roster, but they do have full hearts.
He's still truly there with us. Like, we know that he's going to be watching us and go on this journey with us.
They have him now, and they're carrying him, and they're fighting for him too now.
And the Bearcats are closing in on a playoff spot for the first time in 3 years, and they say it's all thanks to living and playing the Rider way. There may be no place in the Permian Basin with more culture than right here in the Odessa College Sports Center, where girls from all over the world come to use basketball as a means to chase their dream.
Google Translate is my best friend.
It's no wonder Odessa College women's basketball coach Franco Bedell has developed such a friendship with Google Translate. His locker room has become like a mini United Nations, with more than half his roster hailing from outside the United States, including Jessie Dye from China, Nahawa Berthe from Spain, and Lala Nyankin from Canada by way of the Ivory Coast. They all came to Odessa to follow a similar dream, and they all hit a similar wall when they got here.
At first, he was really like, I didn't want to speak because I knew my English wasn't really good. My English is not really good. I need a lot of help on everything.
And sometimes that language barrier carries over when the man they call Coach Q is giving them animated instruction on the court.
Even though I don't understand it, I said, okay, I got you, but I'm not. I just don't want to repeat again because it wastes time sometimes when I'm on the court.
But when the basketballs start dribbling, there's only one language that matters.
It's basketball. Basically, it's basketball. The whole world is the same.
Even though they may come from worldly cities like Montreal or Barcelona, they knew they would find all the opportunity they need in West Texas.
When I started playing basketball, my coach started to explain me all this process, and for the reason, it was a dream for me.
I asked it to my mom as a joke to see what she was going to answer. And she was like against it. And I asked my dad, and he was like, oh, really? Yeah, you should go and everything.
And with all the struggles that come with being a college athlete, these girls have to deal with them while their support systems are thousands of miles away.
I only have probably 1-2 hours to talk with my family. And, you know, in Spain, always are there. If I have some problems, I go, Mom, I have. But here this is very difficult.
So instead, they make a family with their teammates and with their coach. Coach Q says he tries to make a family atmosphere around his program, which especially caught Jessie Dye off guard.
She's used to just the coach being about basketball. And when I had dinner and invited her to my house and we watched movies and they spent the day and with me, it's nothing she's never ever experienced.
And the girls have another coach to turn to when times get rough. One that knows exactly what they're going through because she came from Croatia to play for Coach Q.
I think it's easier for them to come to me about some stuff if they're having issues or if they are just homesick, because I mean, I am older, but I still get homesick as well.
In a team with so much blended into it, with new coursework, a new culture, and a new language, there's one thing that remains universal. They're all using their experience on this team, in this place, to live out all their dreams.
That's why I love basketball. I want to do something by myself and make something different, make some change.
And with some players journeying thousands of miles to come here, this place is just the beginning of their journey. Reporting in Odessa, I'm Cameron Stuart, ABC Big 2 News.